like and subscribe to the channel. You're gorgeous, right? Uber drivers of Reddit, what is your best story as a driver? What is your worst/scariest story? From a friend, one average looking guy got in and insisted on sitting in the front seat. Soon after departing, he was fiddling with something in his hands and finally said, "Wanna see me make this paperclip disappear?" I was thinking, oh fuck, it's dark night time. He's going to disappear it into my eyeball or something. Nope, CD changer. It still doesn't work. The roads were icy and it was a dark night. I was driving home from my in-laws house with my wife in the passenger seat and my 2 kids in back. Out of nowhere a deer appeared in the road. I swerved to avoid it, but slid on the ice. With quick reflexes I did a 360 right around the deer and kept on driving to the applause from my children and chants of dad rules. I picked up a few guys that were planning on going to a friend's hotel room to drink. They brought along a garbage bag full of Bud Light. On the way there, they decided to go straight to the bar instead. When we got to the bar they left without the bag full of beers, and when I pointed that out they told me that I could keep it as a tip. That was 3 weeks ago. I still have a bunch left. I'm an Uber Black driver. A few months back I picked up a man and woman in their 40s from a restaurant. They were clearly not having a good time, still arguing about something. Towards the end of the ride he punches her in the face as hard as he could. When we pull up at the destination he pulls out a knife and starts to threaten her and me. I tell him to take it outside and I drive away. I couldn't help but feel bad for that woman, so I drove to the county sheriff department and told them what happened. Luckily the Uber Black cars have a camera inside that recorded the events. When the sheriff looked at the video he asked for the address and they arrested the guy. I also reported the incident to Uber. They called me and took a recorded statement by phone. I once got in an Uber alone after a night of drinking, and my driver was kind of sweaty and looked like he just ran or something. When I asked him how his night was he told me that his last fare was a cute girl who was pretty drunk and started making out with him when they got to her place. She started giving him head in the car and then asked if he wanted to come in. Needless to say he was having a better night than I was. Funny story actually, my friend is a Uber driver too, and he was telling me how this girl peed in his car and how funny yet utterly disgusting it was. I'm out driving the following week and this passenger was telling me how she peed in some guy's car the previous week. I was in such fear and she made a comment how I began to drive faster when we got to her destination and she got out. I told her I knew the driver whose car she peed in. Other than that I haven't had anything crazy nor hilarious. I don't drive past 2 AM for that exact reason. Chicago. Picked up 2 guys from a Billy Corgan concert. They got in and wanted to play their own music. Asked to fire like Queen. Yes, I do. Puts on Bohemian Rhapsody, turns it up. When that ended he asked what I like. I said Rush. He puts on Tom Sawyer. We jam. Then he puts on Van Halen. We jam. I pull up to their place and the dude in back was like, great ride. We should have filmed that cause it would have made an awesome Uber commercial. It's people like that that make the night fun. My dad is an Uber driver in Dallas. A few weeks ago, he got a call to a wealthy home in one of the suburbs. He showed up, and a woman came out with a Mac-Up kit. Apparently, her daughter was at the ACMs and forgot her Mac-Up. He delivered the kit to a nice hotel near the award ceremony, and the dad came out and tipped him an extra $50 in addition to the pre-existing charge. My dad informed the man that tips weren't required. His response was, "Hey, you just saved me a drive home for some Mac-Up." Very first fare. It was January in West Michigan. I had just bought a new car, and it was rear-wheel drive. 3 people get in my car, 1 is very drunk. When I drop them off at their place, the other 2 can't get the hammered one inside. So I get out of my car and firemen carry him into the house, all while the other 2 are laughing their ass off and snapshotting me. When I go to leave, my car is stuck in the snowbank and I can't get out. Luckily, the other two offered to help me out and pushed my car out of the snowbank, and I drove off. I got a 5-star rating out of that whole mess, so it's all Jude. Again, not a driver, but I had this really cool experience with one. We had just gone to an event with my college graduating class, and it was absolutely pouring. We were in an area of the city that we weren't really familiar with, so when the Uber driver was calling us and telling us where he was, we just couldn't see him. We weren't really on the street and were taking cover under a roof, so we had some trouble making out the intersections. A minute passes and we get a call from the driver asking us where we are as he's trying to find us. As we explain, we start to hear his voice getting louder as we see a man with a jacket running towards us. The man undoubtedly knew it was us calling, and without any hesitation this man throws his rain jacket on one of the girls and just takes us running to his car. Pretty cool dude, 5 stars right there. After a night of partying, my friend decided she wanted to get her nipples pierced. She did, and experienced what I'm pretty sure is the worst pain of her life thus far. We had a 1 AM curfew on the ship we were staying on. Long story, so we decided to get an Uber back to the ship as one was fast approaching and my friend was crying. The whole ride back she's doing her best not to cry while continually telling our driver, don't get your nipples pierced. Don't let anyone you love get their nipples pierced. Don't even let your enemies get their nipples pierced. Just don't do it. Meanwhile, we make it back to where the ship is docked, but the gate closed at 10 PM. We had no idea how to get around the city or where we'll be able to get on the ship. Thankfully, our driver was able to figure it out and somehow got us back on time. It was a weird night. Around 2 AM I picked up 3 people that seemed to be late 40s, 2 guys and a lady, all quite drunk. The destination is less than 10 minutes away, but the moment they climb in the car, the 2 in the back seat, the lady and one of the guys, get really hostile. She's drunkenly threatening to punch him in the face, while the guy in the front seat eggs her on and the guy in the back seat keeps half yelling that he is chill. Super chill. It wasn't too difficult to figure out that the source of the conflict was that he was interested in getting with her and she wasn't having any of it. Sort of. As I'm beginning to consider pulling over and having them get out for fear that a real fight is about to break out in my backseat, the guy in the front seat suddenly changes his tone and starts suggesting that they all should be friends. His plan for patching things up consisted of her showing them her boobs. It took her about 15 seconds to decide that it was a solid plan and happily presented her pleasure pillows for their peeping pleasure. She was seated behind me. I didn't bother sneaking a peek. I suspect I didn't miss much. It culminated with the guys touching her boobs in a manner reminiscent of a pair of 8-year-olds petting a hedgehog. We arrived at their destination, another bar, a couple minutes later. They got 5 stars. So my friend had a terrible Uber experience a few weeks ago. The driver kept trying to make conversation, which normally my friend loves, but she told her a few times she was trying to change her flight. The driver also couldn't find her hotel, normal airport hotel, and drove her around for 30 minutes. Friend asked what the problem was, driver flipped out and kicked my friend out of the car in the mild of a strange city for my friend. Needless to say, my friend called Uber over the driver. Used to drive Uber, and one of the worst ones was when I roll up to a pickup at the end of a gated driveway to this huge house in Marin County to this 14-year-old girl in a nice cocktail dress, mascara running down her face, sobbing. She gets in the car and I don't say a word, since the name on the Uber request was a male's name. We drive towards another really rich part of the area, and I notice her grinding her teeth and fidgeting. I pull up to this huge house with this sobbing girl in the back seat, and in the bay windows I see the silhouette of a man with his arms crossed just glaring at the driveway. Girl gets out, and she sheepishly says thanks and I tell her to have a good night. TL. Doctor picked up an underage girl from a house party, spun out on coke, and delivered her to her very angry father. I was stuck at a Disney resort. Expensive, piss poor alcohol. Extended family vacation. kidney stones in me. I booked an Uber, told the driver to find a gas station that sold beer, asked him to wait and drive me back. I think I might have accidentally left $20 for his troubles, and I think he turned off the tracker for the second half. Best money I spent that whole trip. Edit gas. Walking into the station, it had 12 coolers full of beer, good beer. I nearly cried. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. And in the next video, I will dwell in the demon.